In Idaho, heartbreak and questions after a violent attack on two firefighters.
We do believe that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush and it was intentional.
Yesterday, firefighters were called to a brush fire, and when they arrived, the suspect started shooting. Two were killed, a third was injured. A lockdown was imposed on the nearby town of Coeur, close to the Washington state border. The suspect has been identified as 20-year-old Wess Roley. His body was found after an hours-long manhunt in the area. Crews are still battling the fire. Joining us now is Dr. Alex Delcarman, professor of criminology at Tarleton State University. Alex, thank you so much for joining us. First off, can you speak to us about the tactics that were used by the gunman, setting a fire, then ambushing these firefighters? Has this been seen before?
You know, unfortunately it has, right? What we have seen in this particular gunman is a deliberate act that has been planned probably for weeks, if not months. And how we know that is because of the fact that he knew exactly where to go, where to start the fire, how to provoke law enforcement or first responders to react, and then thirdly, probably had positioned himself in a way that he could actually take aim, shoot, and faithfully execute the individual victims that were actually in play. So it's a horrible act, it's sheer evil, and there's no question that this was planned ahead of time.
And how do investigators know that he was working alone?
Well, they've actually said that preliminarily they know that he's been working alone, because so far what that means is they haven't had any proof that there's been sort of a concerted effort with other entities that have been able to support it. But that may change, right? Keep in mind that right now we're in the early stages of the investigation, which basically means that they're coming through the home, looking at computer usage, cell phone usage, whether or not this guy had any connections with overseas entities or individuals that hate America, that hate first responders. Is there a political ideology that's being followed here? So all of those questions are being raised by the best of the best, who is actually looking into this person's profile and coming up with answers very quickly. But do understand that the narrative can change very quickly if things begin to pop up in the investigation that would suggest otherwise.
Now, officials said that they had to scoop everything up quickly at the scene because of the fire. How is that going to impact the investigation you just described?
Significantly. We know that whenever a crime takes place, right, the first thing that we do is secure the crime scene. And when it is exposed to the elements, period, we know that that crime scene is going to deteriorate by the hours and by the days. And so what we try to do is preserve it as best as we can. In this particular case, there's probably nothing more detrimental to a crime scene than fire. And so the investigators are going to have to, or probably went straight to the crime scene, tried to seize as much as they could, took pictures, DNA samples, whatever they could, and then retrieve themselves in order to be able to safeguard their lives. But keep in mind, too, that there's a digital print here that is being left by the bad guy in other areas that is not exposed to the fire. And sometimes those things actually give us a lot more insights than the physical evidence that we would recover from a crime scene.
Dr. Delcarman, we know that faith and reason go together. You're obviously a great professional in your field, but how should people of faith be thinking about this?
You know, this is a reminder to all of us that, every single day we see evil take place in our communities, in our streets, in our neighborhoods, and that we have to hold on to prayer, we have to hold on to the rosary, we have to hold on to communion, all of these things that are beautiful faith. The Catholic faith has taught us for years and for centuries, right? I've been a criminologist for 28 years, and I can tell you that if it wouldn't be for my faith and for my love for God and our Blessed Mother, there is absolutely no way that I get through a day having to deal with these horrible acts of violence out there. So this is nothing more than a reminder that we need to be in our faith, very much straightforward, and always being the salt of the earth.
Well, we will be joining you in prayer for these victims. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.